Hey guys, welcome back to After Credit Movie Chats. My name is Dean Thomas, and the Oscars are this Sunday. They are finally here, one of the more exciting times to be a movie fan, where we finally get to recognize what were our favorite movies of this past year. Because we are so close to the Oscars, I thought I would break down for you guys my predictions for who's going to win the Oscar. Not necessarily who I think should win, but who I think will win. And this is going to be a tough year to choose because there is some stiff competition between some certain people. And I'm going to look at just here at the major categories, those being Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, and Best Picture. Well, I like a lot of the other categories and really pay close attention to them. I think this is the majority, what the majority of people look at. These are the main 6 categories or so that people are mostly interested in. So I thought those would be the ones I would give my predictions on. So let's start off with Best Actor. Now this is a pretty stacked race right here, as we've got Bryan Cranston, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Michael Fassbender, and Eddie Redmayne. Now, before on any of these award seasons would have started, I would have said Michael Fassbender is going to win this for Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is one of my favorite movies of the year. I think it was one of the most underrated movies, underseen movies. Regardless if he looked like Steve Jobs or not, Michael Fassbender became Steve Jobs. And with an Aaron Sorkin script, you know it's going to be a whole lot of walking and talking and a whole lot of dialogue. I believe this script had like 180-some pages of dialogue, which is double the average movie script. And the way he was able to spit this stuff out, but you still cared about him. He wasn't just saying or reading lines. And I think Michael Fassbender really should win, but like I said, this isn't who I think who should win, it's who I think will win. And I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that Leonardo DiCaprio is winning this for The Revenant. Every single award show is giving him Best Actor. And while he was extremely, extremely good in The Revenant, I thought, and I don't know if this is going to make a lot of sense, but I felt like the role was harder as a human being than it was an actor. As an actor, he didn't had to go to crazy lengths of dialogue or anything like that. He just had to, survive as a human being out in those conditions, which isn't a pretty incredible feat. And like I said, he's really, really good in The Revenant. Everyone seems to be giving him Best Actor, and this almost feels like it could be one of those lifetime achievement things where this dude should have 3 or 4 Oscars by now. Doesn't have a single one, so I think it's time he does get one. And because he was as good as he was in The Revenant, well, I think Michael Fassbender's performance beat him. I can understand why DiCaprio would get the award, and I think Leonardo DiCaprio will indeed win Best Actor this year. All right, let's move on to Best Actress, and this has also got a pretty stacked lineup here with Cate Blanchett, Brie Larson, Jennifer Lawrence, Charlotte Rampling, and Saoirse Ronan. Now, this is one of those other things where you don't always want to put a ton of stock into other award shows, but I think it's a pretty good indicator of who's going to win Best Actors this year, and it's Brie Larson for Room. She's won just about every other award, and I mean, she really was incredible in Room. That performance is such an emotional one, such a raw performance. She really had to strip down and go to nothing just for this role. I mean, it is such a heartbreaking movie, such a good movie if you haven't seen it. And I do think Brie Larson absolutely deserves to win the Oscar for this one, and I think she absolutely will. If you haven't seen Room, you really should go check it out, and if you have, I think you'll understand why she's been winning so many awards, and why I think she's going to win the Oscar. Let's move on now to Best Actor, or Best Supporting Actor, I should say. And this is also a very, very stacked list with Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, Mark Ruffalo, Mark Rylance, and Sylvester Stallone. There's so many names on this list that I wish would win. I would love to see Stallone win one for Creed. I mean, his performance as Rocky is so good. It's such a good send-off, if it is indeed a send-off. Christian Bale was really good as always. Mark Ruffalo was extremely, extremely good in Spotlight. But I think the real race comes down here between Tom Hardy and Mark Rylance. Both of them are so good. I think Mark Rylance has got the upper hand right now. It seems to be that everybody's leaning towards him being the guy that's going to win it, because in Bridge of Spies, he really is so good as this underselling, kind of quiet spy who isn't the prototypical spy is what you would think, this real tough guy. He's not going to talk. No, he's a real quiet, reserved kind of guy, and the way he played that role was so good. But at the same time, The Revenant's been getting so much attention from in every aspect, and Tom Hardy is so good. He has as much screen time almost as DiCaprio does in the movie. He's so good as this kind of guy off his rocker, just wants everything for himself. So it's such a toss-up between Hardy and Rylance. But I'm going to give Mark Rylance the Oscar. I believe Rylance will win Best Supporting Actor this year. Which then brings us to Best Supporting Actress, which we've got Jennifer Jason Leigh, Rooney Mara, Rachel McAdams, Alicia Vikander, and Kate Winslet. Now, surprisingly enough, Kate Winslet's been winning the award at a lot of these other award ceremonies. And while like I said, I love Steve Jobs and I think she's so great in it, and I would like to see her win it, I don't think she will. Initially, I would have thought Rooney Mara would have won this one for Carol, but it seems to be leaning towards Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl, which I'm so happy about because Alicia Vikander is going to be around for a long time. It's going to be a name you start to know. If you saw Ex Machina, which I really think should have been nominated, and she should have been nominated for that, really, even as supporting, which is why I think she got in here for The Danish Girl, because she's really, really good in it. But it almost felt like they gave it to her, this nomination, for both roles, really. She was really good in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and you're going to be seeing her in the Fifth Bourne movie titled Jason Bourne. She'll be in that. So you're going to know her name an awful lot. And I actually think she's going to win this one. All signs have been pointing to her winning this. She's so good. She basically steals that movie from Eddie Redmayne. So I think Alicia Vikander will win Best Supporting Actress this year. Alright, and now on to our last two categories here as we get into Best Director. And this one's so tough for me because there are some great names on here with Adam McKay, George Miller, Alejandro Inarritu, Lenny Abrahamson, and Tom McCarthy. It's such a tough list with the way McCarthy directed Spotlight and kept you engaged with that movie, where you could have gotten lost in all the information and different little stories going on with the reporting. You could have gotten lost, but you didn't. Lenny Abrahamson, the way he adapted the book Room, and turned that into a movie, the way he got performances out of Brie Larson and Jacob Tremblay, the 10-year-old, it's incredible. George Miller, a 70-year-old man going out into the desert and getting that kind of action, that kind of craziness out of a movie is just incredible. And while I would have loved to see him win this, I really think he could have. I think Inarritu's got this one. He's got a second Best Director Oscar coming his way in a row. Because the feat that The Revenant had to go through, the fact that it was shot all in natural light, out in the elements, the shoot was, somewhere like 6 months, went 4 months longer because they had to shoot natural light, so they had to wait for the light to be just right. It's such an incredible feat as a movie of how they got this thing made, how they did it. It's such a beautiful movie to look at, to watch. And though The Revenant may not be the most compelling storyline, or most unique storyline, it's just the feat of how this movie was made, the feat of movie making. And I think because of all that, Inarritu does deserve this Oscar, and he's going to get this Oscar. Which then also jumps us right into the Best Picture nominees, the big one. Which movie truly was the best movie of the year, according to the Academy at least. And on that list, we've got The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. There's some tough ones on here. And I love to see that we got Mad Max Fury Road got a Best Picture nominee, The Martian got a Best Picture nominee. But I think really it's a 3-horse race between The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. I can see this going either way. I think Room has a small chance. I don't think it's going to win. So it really does come down between The Revenant and Spotlight. The Revenant, in my predictions at least, is getting a lot of awards. It's going to get even more in the other categories that I didn't cover. And I can see this going either way. And it's such a close race. So guys, I'm just going to make a wild just prediction here. And while I can very much see the Academy just going with The Revenant, I'm gonna go with Spotlight. I think Spotlight is actually going to be the movie to win Best Picture because of the way, as I gone back with Best Director, you don't get lost. You follow the story so well, and because the Academy does like true stories, they like things based on real life events, and it's such a haunting and dark tale, but of about true journalism heroes that decided, you know what, we've got to tell this story. We're going to do whatever it takes to tell the story. And it shows, you know, the good side of journalism, as where we always hear about the bad things, about how people are digging into people's business that isn't their own and whatever you hear about journalism. This is the good side of it, what they can really do to help people. And I think for that reason, the Academy is going to lean in favor of Spotlight. And that is why I'm going to take Spotlight to win Best Picture this year at the Oscars. Alright guys, now it's your turn. Jump in the comments below. Let me think of all these categories, these 6 major categories. Who's going to win? Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? I'm sure we can get in a pretty good discussion with these because I could go any other way with these, and I'm sure I can't argue with a lot of your arguments if you bring them up. So like I said, jump in the comments. Let me know on Twitter as well, at AC Movie Chats, where you can get out the latest movie news, reviews, trailers, anything like that, with the links to my website, aftercreditmoviechats.wordpress.com. Like I said, let me know what you think. That's the fun part of doing all this, guys. The Oscars are this Sunday. I'm sure a lot of us will be tuning in to watch, see who wins. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you back here next time.